What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about a really important topic, something that's really taken a stranglehold on society as we know it, the COVID-19 virus. I feel like it's very important for us to have a conversation about what that means for us and the bowling world or the bowling community. And yeah, I understand there are a lot bigger, more important issues than bowling right now, but this is a bowling channel, so we're going to talk about that aspect anyway. So obviously here in Ontario, just today the government has issued a state of emergency. So that means, you know, your bowling centers in the province are all shutting down. I know there are some other provinces that have been kind of ahead of the curve on this, but that is today's news for us anyway. I'm sitting here, it's Tuesday of March break. This place is usually jammed and we're not open. We were open yesterday, we had 4 people in, aside from league. So, I mean, this is a real thing, and you know, this might be the only time you see me have a conversation more as a proprietor than a bowler, but I feel like it's necessary to kind of share thoughts of what's going through the mind on the other end of things. And as a bowler, I feel like we take things for granted, and I know I've kind of established that opinion a few times. The sport is really gonna hurt for this, and I don't know as bowlers what we can do to remedy this problem. March break for the bowling world is kind of that last real good revenue stretch before the lean summer months, and summers are usually tight. I mean, if you talk to anyone that runs a bowling center, they'll tell you the same thing. There isn't a demand for lane use, and the bills are still coming in, and this is kind of like your little nest egg to go through the summer months, and we're not going to have that now. And I'm not just saying that for ourselves personally, that is across the board, and this one's really going to hurt. And I don't know how we approach what's going to happen, and I don't even know what ramifications are going to appear down the road. I mean, we've been told that we are to be shut down at least to the end of March, but when we get to the end of March, we don't know if we're opening, and that's a real scary thing. And your local proprietor, they got to put food on the table, and I feel like the sport gets stretched out enough as it is, that there's going to be a pretty severe impact coming from this. When things get back up and rolling, which they will, there are probably some things that we can do to help the situation out for proprietors, and it's really tough to foresee the impact, exactly what it's going to be. I mean, I can go out and say, like, when things get back up and rolling, try to support your local bowling center, more than you already will. But I mean, the general population, they're also going to be feeling the strain. There's a lot of uncertainty in the financial world, or jobs and job creation, and it's a scary time. And what I propose to do on my end of things anyway, to hopefully help as minimal as it's going to be, is I'm going to try and provide some content, maybe not daily, but on a more consistent basis, for number one, to give people something to watch. I mean, there's no sports. As big of a baseball fan as I am, I'm, was literally in tears to know that I've been waiting all winter for baseball season to start, and it's not coming here anytime soon. So there would be, I mean, what little entertainment I would provide, there would be a little bit anyway. And in terms of bowling, I feel like there is some value in taking your mind off of things, even if it's for a few minutes, and maybe there will be something of use that I could provide some of the bowling community during this time. And if it's some instructional videos or just sitting down and talking, maybe we can do a question and answer. I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, it's not a joke, but I've got the time off now, and obviously I'm going to be in the bowling center. There'll be things to do otherwise, but my work schedule's been cleared pretty quickly. So yeah. One thing that I will say for proprietors, there are a lot of small town, small center proprietors, and there is that uncertainty of what to do with your time right now. And I'll be honest, like I'm here. I mean, most weeks, 7 days a week, and put in some long days and nights, and they would too, for sure. And there's just going to be a bit of an uncomfortable level of living for them at this point. I mean, like I said, there's things to do around your bowling center. One thing I would propose to do is, maybe do machine teardown and clean and put everything back together and oil it. That's one of the biggest ways you can improve your scoring in your center, is having a clean, smooth running machine. And I guess maybe just being there. I mean, I've only been here for maybe an hour and a half, about an hour probably, and I have league bowlers coming in to ask questions. Now, I mean, I probably should have my doors locked, but I don't. And I mean, a lot of phone calls, and the phone calls, while I mean, obviously there are people calling to cancel reservations, but I feel like at the same time they just want someone to talk to, and if you can maybe be there to still talk shop, as if you will, I think there's comfort in that as well. And as for the bowlers, hanging tight. The one thing that I mean, I've noticed looking online and seeing a lot of comments or posts about, canceling leagues and oh, we should do this and we should do that. It's easier said than done. And coming from the other side of things, a lot of bowling centers, I mean, I'd certainly I would fit in this category where feel pressured to close but almost can't afford to. And I do know across the country, and there are a lot of provinces that aren't where we are today. I mean, they might be shortly, but they're not there yet. Don't speak on their behalf. It's tough to read comments like, oh, they should do this and oh, they should do that. Well, we know what the general population wants us to do. But like I said, we have bills to pay still, and I understand that this is a real thing, and it is going to change us in the way we live. But we still, for the most part, we need to put food on the table, and those small town, small bowling centers, they are going to hurt. And the longer that they can stay open while still being safe, and that's the key point there, still being safe, I think that's also necessary too. And before we got told to shut down, really, we're really limited, I guess, on what we could do, but no towels out for the bowler that needs the wet towel to dampen their hands so they can throw the ball. That gets thrown out right away. That's just a gathering of bacteria. And bowling balls become single use per group. Group comes in to bowl, they have to pick bowling balls out of a bin that have been cleaned, and then when they're done, they go back in the dirty bin and they get cleaned again for the next group. And obviously, if you are still bowling leagues or your outings, just try to minimize fives, because we know that that's kind of the bowling thing to do, and that's always kind of been the nice thing about bowling, that even if you're against your competitor, you're still the first guy to give them five. And yeah, I mean, it'll be I think it'll get worse before it gets better, but we'll get through this, and things will be back and running as normal as they can be. And in the meantime, let's just all hang tight and be safe and support one another. And I mean, that's all we can ask right now. So once again, thank you for taking the time to watch this. Hopefully what I've said makes sense to you, and you can see where, maybe not necessarily just where I'm coming from, but maybe where your local proprietor is coming from. And we'll get through this. And in the meantime, look for some more videos, hopefully a little on the more positive side than today's video for sure. And we'll put some stuff up, and hopefully everyone is entertained enough and enjoy it to pass the time, and let's not make this situation a total loss, I guess. And anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and just stay tuned for another video.